Hello and a very warm welcome to Meghan and Harry News YouTube channel. Hi, I'm Alex, I hope all is well with you. So I watched the final 3 episodes of the Meghan and Harry documentary and I feel it was very well made. It's a polished production and it will change public opinion in quite a big way. It was good to hear them talk about the bots used on their social media accounts. They hinted at how that was an orchestrated campaign where all of these negative comments come only from 83 accounts, but they never really speculated on who was behind this. I think we all know who was. I would have liked to have seen specific mention of the commercial flight, private yet jet smear campaign that was directly referenced in, I believe, The Spectator as deliberate orchestrated smear campaign on the Sussexes by William and Kate's PR team. That would have been interesting. But that dirty game was talked about and the planting of stories and specifically is aimed at Prince William. As Harry said in episode 4, I have 30 years experience of looking behind the curtain and seeing how this system works and how it runs, and it's just constant briefings about other members of the family, about favours inviting the press in. It's a dirty game, Harry says. There's leaking, but there's also planting of stories. So if the comms team wants to be able to remove a negative story about their principal, they will trade and give you something about someone else's principal, so the officers end up working against each other. Harry says he and his brother made a promise to never use their officers against each other, but Harry claims William did not follow through on his promise. William and I both saw what happened in our dad's office and we made an agreement that we would never let that happen to our office, he says. He continues, I would far rather get destroyed in the press than play along with this game of this business of trading, and to see my brother's office copy the very same thing that we promised the two of us would never ever do, that was heartbreaking. Another part that was interesting was Harry stating he had no involvement with the joint statement issue by the palace, which was denying the tabloid's report that the couple had been pushed out due to William's bullying. As Harry said in the documentary, once I got in the car after the meeting, I was told about a joint statement that had been put out in my name and my brother's name, squashing the story about him bullying us out of the family. He says, I couldn't believe it. No one had asked me permission to put my name to a statement like that. And I rang Em and I told her, and she burst into floods of tears because within 4 hours they were happy to lie to protect my brother, and yet for 3 years they were never willing to tell the truth to protect us. I think it's very clear to anyone who is paying attention that the institution and the media work together, and Meghan and Harry and them leaving the royal family and becoming independent, meaning making their own money and funding themselves, is seen as a direct threat to the royal family, as they are all funded by the poor UK taxpayer. And the institution and the media have been running a smear campaign on them for years, and this is very much illustrated in the documentary for everyone to see. And this is only reinforced by the tabloids today and their response. Just listen to these institutionalised mainstream media platforms and tabloids and their spokesmen. This is what they have been saying in the last 2 days. Listen to how insane they sound. First up, we have The Sun, running with the headline, The Traitor and the Dutiful, said the latest allegations mounted to a declaration of all-out war against the royal family. Then we have, in an opinion piece inside the paper, Piers Morgan calling their actions cowardly, treacherous and despicable, and said they did their best to manipulate viewers into thinking they were victims of unrelenting racist hate from the media. But they don't show any of the substantial positive coverage, he added. Piers Morgan, do you remember any positive coverage that he has given them in the last 3 years or so? Absolute nonsense. The Daily Mail covered events in a similar vein, writing on its front page that battle lines had been drawn. The paper's editorial states, the only saving grace is that Her Majesty was spared seeing this tawdry exercise in self-promotion. The sensible majority in this country will find their vengeful onslaught distasteful and disrespectful. Harry and Meghan's word and actions are made up of rank hypocrisy according to the Times. In a leading article, the paper calls out the couple to hand back their titles and take themselves out of the line of succession. Harry and Meghan must see the hypocrisy of claiming still to be royal, the article says. They have made clear that they consider themselves to be at war with the institution of monarchy, an institution that they appear to hold in contempt. Why cling to royal titles which no longer have any relevance for two people now trading simply on their image as celebrities? The Telegraph's associate editor, Camilla Tominey, says the second volume of the series amounts to revenge for Harry and Meghan. She writes, as immediately becomes apparent in the second volume of their controversial docuseries, it isn't enough for love to win. The royal family must also lose for the couple to come out on top. Meanwhile, the Daily Mirror takes a more measured approach in its reaction, using a Voice of the Mirror editorial to urge Harry and William to end their conflict. The article says, the royal family gathered for a carol concert last night, but it's clear from the Netflix documentary that William and Harry are not singing from the same hymn sheet. They should remember it's the season of peace and goodwill. I think it's very clear now for everyone to see that the institution and the media are one and the same. What do you think? Leave a comment and let me know your opinion.